Videos Leila Nishmas Mishmo Bacham Chatzin. There's so much to learn, of course, from an event like this, an experience, a journey. We're still davening for Yosel ben Peril, Shavafur Shalema, and anyone else who was injured, Shavafur Shalema. Not only that, I spoke to someone who had his kids in the event itself, and mamish in the house itself, and the trauma, and the fact that they can't go to sleep. These are things la aleinu that a person we don't even understand them in masik if a person doesn't experience it. And here are kids that are traumatized, and to go through the therapy, that itself needs such a refuah shalema. So we have to daven for these kids too. And Klal Yisrael as a whole, what's so beautiful was the Sefer Achnasa Sefer Torah that took place right in the midst of this darkness. And a few things that I learned. But one of them, interesting, the hashgacha was I was learning with my chavrusa the sugya, the actual the discussion in the Gemara Masechah Sanhedrin in the Yerushalmi about writing a Sefer Torah for a king. The type of Sefer Torah, a small one. If you saw in the pictures that went around, the picture is a small Sefer Torah. It's not because it was minimized. It was actually a real Sefer Torah, a special Sefer Torah. It's called a travel Sefer Torah. It's not inexpensive, it's quite expensive. But in interest, and this is what we were learning the day before, what was this discussion? The king has to walk around with a Sefer Torah. That's one hashgacha. But what I think even more interesting is I happened to see an article, it always bothered me, something that I saw in the name of Rasha Weiss. He writes, why is it that there's such a joy when there's Achnasa Sefer Torah? So a Torah is being dedicated. You should have seen the dancing. There was such an incredible energy. And you'll find this by many of the Achnasa Sefer Torah, the dedication of a new Sefer Torah. But the answer is, it's based, I think it's a Pnei Yeshua and Kiddushin, and it's also a Zohar, that Yisrael, the name Yisrael, is Yesh Shishim Riba Oisius Later. There is 600,000 letters to the Torah. Exactly how it's divided is interesting. Some letters are really more than one, but the idea is that every single one of us has a soul, and that soul is connected to some letter. Now, let's think about this. What that means is the following, is that of course everyone is so joyful when it comes to Sefer Torah, because we know one letter is missing, technically the Sefer Torah is invalidated. So if it's invalid with that one letter, that means we count so much. Of course we count so much. We forget how important we are. We forget how we're so integral for the Jewish people, for the entire unity. Someone even sent me a message that unfortunately even now there's such a, when we're trying to become unified, so there's of course the difficulties and the challenges even in solidarity. There's going to be something of some sort of solidarity, and we're trying to do as much education as possible and get together. And of course there's differences, and it's not easy, as I mentioned. It's not easy, and we have to be able to get over, go deeper. But Yerushalmi in Maseches Nadarim, says it so clear. You can't take revenge against another Jew because it's like a hand that hurt the left hand that hurt the right hand, and the right hand takes revenge and hits the left hand. That's the way we're supposed to look at each other. It's an amazing, it's Yerushalmi. It's not even you don't have to open up a very far Hasidic book. It's straight out. That's what we are. We're one. And we have to know that, and we have to review that. But listen to the amazing Gemara. I thought about this Gemara a lot because there's so much darkness that we see, and there's so much light that we see, and it's not a contradiction. We could fall, and we could mamish be so destructive to each other. We could kill each other. The Gemara and the Psukim in Tanakh, we know that the reason why Gedalia ben Achikam, there's a fast day. Why? Because a political argument between Jews, and one guy murdered the other. It's scary. So, how do we fall to such darkness? And the Gemara tells us the following secret. This is a Gemara that we need to review for ourselves. It strengthens ourselves how powerful we are. Listen to the Gemara Maseches Ksuvas Samech Vav Amud Beis. Gemara describes how Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai was walking, and he noticed that he saw a young lady. She was picking kernels from dung, animal dung. Of course, he was shocked. He said, "My daughter, Biti." He said, "Miat." She said, "I'm the daughter of Nakdimon ben Gurion, who was a famous, wealthy person." Nakdimon ben Gurion. And she goes on to describe how he was the one that signed the ksuba. And after the whole description here, he's watching a girl. She didn't have any clothing. She had to wrap herself with her own hair. He turns and he says the following: Ashreichem Yisrael, how fortunate are the Jewish people. Yisrael, when we're doing the will of Hashem, there's no nation that could touch us. Nothing, no one could touch us. Hashem will put us in the hands of a low nation, not just a low nation, in the animals of that nation. So the obvious question is, that's Ashreichem? It doesn't sound like the appropriate word to use when we're watching such devastation, but the answer is no. The Jewish people are not, I'm using this in a nice way, normal. We're not natural. We don't live based on the natural course of this world. We're beyond nature, and that's why we could either fall to the depth of darkness, or when we rise and unite and become who we're supposed to be and really work on ourselves to do what Hashem wants, we are invincible. Have a great day.